Well, Ron Rivera's done a great job. 3 things you should know about these Panthers. They've already clinched the division for the 3rd straight year. That had never been done in this division. They clinch a first-round bye with a win or tie or a Green Bay loss or tie. So that's what's at stake today. As far as those Packers, they're taking on the Cowboys. That'll be America's Game of the Week coming up later today on Fox, a 4:25 kick Eastern time. We got a great day of football and an unbelievably ridiculous day weather-wise here. It's December, John, and it's 70 degrees, and we were actually sweating on the field before.
It's toasty. I put my flannels on. It's December.
It's been warm on the entire East Coast, but it is flat out gorgeous here today. These fans are all kinds of fired up. And so is the Atlanta head coach, Dan Quinn, in his first year trying to turn around this Falcons program. They got off to a 5-0 start. Since, obviously, they've really had some trouble. They've lost their last 5. And, John, they've been in every single game. They just have made really big mistakes at critical times.
Yeah, and in critical spots. Turnovers in the red zone. Turnovers in the 4th quarter. Things like that. Dan Quinn, that's why he was angry this week. I really believe, in talking to the Falcons, they're going to come out and play inspired football today.
And so the Falcons won the toss. They deferred, and here we go from Charlotte. That's out of the end zone from Bosher. And so we will see Cam Newton and the Panthers offense starting on the 20-yard line. Cam has been outstanding in his career in the month of December. 15-3. That's getting it done.
Well, Howie Long talked about it in the pregame show. Cam in the clutch. That's why I think he's the MVP of this league right now. What he's doing in the red zone, what he's doing in the 4th quarter, and you see in December, he's always been a finisher.
This team runs the ball more than anybody in the NFL. That's what their game is based on. And, of course, Newton has put himself right in the thick of the MVP race this year with the way he's played. That's Brown in motion. We'll start it off with the run, and that's not even going to get too much. A short gain as Hagman in on the tackle. Carry by Stewart. So for these Carolina Panthers, best team in the NFL. They're undefeated. Can they continue and finish the season undefeated? That's the question with 4 more to go. Number 1 MVP, that's Cam Newton. He has certainly played like it. John will discuss as the game goes on. And then a championship caliber defense certainly looks that way. They're 3rd overall in defense in the NFL. 2nd and 7, and Newton will throw it, and he slings it over the middle, and he's got a completion. And that is the tight end Olsen, who has developed into one of the finest in the league. It is a first down.
Well, Kevin, someone forgot to tell Greg Olsen that he's getting old. He's supposed to be slowing down, but no, he's playing his best football of his career, productive in the pass game. Cam trusts him immensely, and in the run game, a great blocker, a complete tight end is Greg Olsen.
And so a first down for the Panthers from the 34. They'll give it to Stewart. Good hole! Jonathan Stewart in the Falcons territory, run out of bounds inside the 25. What a start for the undefeated Panthers.
Well, Kevin, this run game of the of the Carolina Panthers. Watch Greg Olsen. He's going to come in motion. Then he's going to be the lead blocker coming through for Jonathan Stewart. Jonathan Stewart sees the big hole, explodes through that hole. They run it frequently, and they run it very well.
That's a season-high 44-yard run for Stewart. And now Panthers from the 22. A little zone read. Newton fires, knocked away. Good play from Robert Alford, who had the coverage. And a second down is coming.
And you just see how this Carolina Panthers offense operates. It's built around Cam Newton. They're in the gun a lot, the read option. It opens up a lot of holes. Cam Newton affects the entire defense. They have to account for him. Then you get people playing the run, and you pop the play action on him. It's a machine that when it gets going, it's tough to stop.
Give you so many different looks. They go I formation this time. Devin Funchess, the rookie, bottom of your screen. They'll fake it all day. Now Newton in trouble. Pressured, he throws it away. You got late pressure from Troy Bierman, and we also have a flag back at the 29-yard line. Tony Correnti is our referee today in his 21st season.
Holding, offense number 67, 10-yard penalty, and repeat, second down.
We're going to get Ryan Khalil, the center and the anchor of this Carolina defense. They go a little max protection. They're trying to get a shot down the field. He's at the top of our screen, and he's got a fistful of Croy Bierman, number 71's jersey. Good call by Tony Corrente and his crew.
I'll move it back to a 2nd and 20, backed up at the 32. Fozzie Whitaker in the game at the running back, number 43. On 2nd down, 4-man rush. Newton gonna fire, and it's caught inside the 10. Dropped, picked up by Atlanta, and it's a turnover. Olsen lost it, Allen's got it, and the Falcons have the football.
Greg Olsen already motioning that he thinks he's down. Let's check it out. Left knee down, he's got possession of the football. That will be a catch, and Greg Olsen's football. Then the question remains, Kevin, okay, you got to control it through the process of going to the ground, and so is it a catch?
Well, the call on the field, obviously Falcons ball, but every turnover is reviewed, so Ron Rivera won't have to throw a flag. Let's take another look.
The previous play will go under review.
Well, there's no question it's not a turnover. Now we just confirm whether or not it's a catch, whether he was a runner, and that will be a catch. We'll confirm that with Mike Pereira. Review in Carolina on a big play. We're back.
Today's game is sponsored by Southwest. Transparency, low fares, nothing to hide.
We're back in Charlotte. They look at this play, and we'll have the official announcement from Tony Corrente right here.
After review, the Carolina receiver possessed the ball and was down by contact at the 8-yard line. It will be Carolina's ball, first down.
Mike Pereira, do you agree here?
Absolutely. There are two things they had to look at. Maybe most importantly, first, was it a catch? They had to deem first whether he was going to the ground or whether he was on his feet. He gets control, 2 feet, braces for the contact. There's that element of time, so he became a runner, and then the knee was on the ground before the ball came out. It was a good call and replay to reverse that. Thanks, Mike. And so a 25-yard gain on a 1st and goal from the 8. Here's Stewart, and he's up the middle. He's going to pick up 2.
Kevin, first of all, thank you, Mike. You make it so clear.
Yeah.
No one knows what's a catch anymore, but Mike Pereira does. But I think what was lost in that throw by Cam Newton. I mean, you're in 2nd and 20, and that throw is just, people don't make that throw. He makes it look so easy, and that's what he's done all season.
And here in the red zone, Cam has been just superb. I mean, 26 total touchdowns, no interceptions. One of the reasons why they've excelled. 2nd and goal. Newton in trouble. Somehow escapes and throws it away. And now a late hit here. And there's the flag. So he gets out of a sack. He draws a penalty. Here comes a 1st and goal. Unbelievable.
First of all, there is no intentional grounding. Quarterback was outside the pocket, threw the ball beyond the line of scrimmage. Personal foul, unnecessary roughness, roughing the passer, defense number 50. Unnecessarily hit the quarterback after the pass was away. Half the distance to the goal and an automatic first down.
Well, first of all, you don't say this often when you have a quarterback versus a nose guard, but that's a mismatch. Grady Jarrett's free. He can't bring him down. O'Brien Schofield, Kevin, we talked in the open. Dan Quinn was angry with his defense. He wanted more effort. Sometimes that's the byproduct. You've got these guys so pumped up that they're going to do things like that. A critical error in a critical spot, it's what's been ailing this team of late, both offensively and defensively.
So they had a penalty to put him in 2nd and 20, and then Newton fires a seed for a first down. They had what looked like a big play and a sack there, and instead he gets out of it, draws a penalty, and here you have a 1st and goal from the 3. Opening drive for these Panthers after the Falcons won the toss and deferred. Stewart has it. Close and down, just shy. 2nd down.
Jonathan Stewart, so effective in driving his legs. Most of his yards come after contact. He's a tough guy to bring down by virtue of his strength, his stature. He's short and squatty, and he keeps those legs churning. A really tough running back.
Jumbo package here for the Panthers. Darrell Williams, rookie lineman, comes in, number 60. So does Mike Tolbert, who can pass for a lineman. He's so big as their fullback. So here we go. Stewart in the eye. Give it to him. Over the top and touchdown. Here goes Cam finding a little one. It's great that he does that.
That is awesome. And I tell you, sometimes we make this game too difficult. Run behind your two best offensive linemen, Ryan Khalil and Trey Turner, the center, the right guard. They got right behind him, and Jonathan Stewart went up and over.
So the Panthers go 8 plays, 80 yards, and they didn't even get to a third down on that drive. Keep this in mind. They have missed 3 extra points this year. Here's Graham Gano. That one is true. Opening drive right down the field. There was 44 yards on the run by Stewart. It was a couple of rocket throws from Cam. Olsen with the catch. Stewart with the touchdown. Celebration, Cam. 7-0 Panthers. Falcons football.
Game is sponsored by Bud Light, the official beer sponsor of the NFL.
Panthers didn't do much wrong on the opening possession. Right down the field, Jonathan Stewart, a 44-yard run. He finished it off with his 6th touchdown run of the year. Devin Hester back to return for the 2nd week in a row. He's been out all year with a toe injury, and he will not take this one from 8 yards out. John, we had a pretty good block on that touchdown run, huh?
Well, I talked about Ryan Khalil being the anchor. Watch this double by he and Trey Turner. Then he's going to get up to the 2nd level. It's just incredible. Fundamental football that's winning the line of scrimmage. That's why Ryan Khalil's a Pro Bowl, all-pro player in the middle.
Paul Solei, the Falcons' best run stuffer, is out today with a calf injury. So Joey Mbu comes off the practice squad to make his debut and get absolutely plowed over at the goal line.
As you said, welcome to the NFL.
So the Falcons in an early hole, down 7-0, and now they touch the ball for the first time. From the 20, they're going to run it to Devontae Freeman, trying to stretch it to the outside. Not much. Shaq Thompson on pursuit. As we get a look at Matt Ryan, who Kuechly on the play. Matt Ryan coming in, Johnny. Look, this guy has been an excellent quarterback in this league. He's 5th in the league in passing yards this year. But something is just a tick off with his game.
Yeah, and I think it is. Look, Matt Ryan's been a Pro Bowl quarterback in his 8th year. I don't care how long you've played. When you're in a new system, he's trying to learn that. We're seeing him go through the growing pains. And the 13 interceptions, that's the biggest issue that he's having. He's loose with the football this year.
On 2nd and 10, they'll run it again. And Freeman this time gets a block. Devontae Freeman with a big run. And the Falcons needed it across the 40. He's going to pick up 21.
We've all discovered this year what a special football player Devontae Freeman is. Watch Roddy White. He's getting in there with the big boys, blocking Roman Harper. That gives the cut to Devontae Freeman. He brings it all the way back outside Thomas Davis, and then he turns on the Jets. Devontae Freeman has great vision, great explosion. He's really a weapon for this Atlanta Falcons offense.
He's 2nd in the NFL in touchdowns as Freeman. Out now as Tevin Coleman comes in, number 26, and he lines up as a wideout, bottom of your screen. Ryan looking the other way, and there's Julio Jones. He lost it, and it trickles out of bounds. Gets a break. And that's going to be something to watch here today. Julio Jones, the league's leading receiver, against Josh Norman, the Panthers' fantastic young cornerback.
Yeah, but that time, and it speaks to the talent of Thomas Davis, they align him in the slot. It's a zone defense, no problem. I'll go get Julio Jones and I'll get the ball out. Thomas Davis, Kevin, I'm just going to say this up front. It's a joke. He has not been to the Pro Bowl, one of the best linebackers in football. He deserves to go this year.
I honestly couldn't believe that when I was looking at his numbers this week. I just assumed he was there. 2nd down, a little trickeration. coming near side on the run. This is Coleman, and he's not going to go anywhere. He's going to lose a yard and a half. Roman Harper had a nice play there, and it'll be third down.
I'll tell you one thing. I like the misdirection, but sideline to sideline does not work because of this guy, Luke Kuechly and Roman Harper. These guys are on their job, and they can run like the wind, especially Kuechly in the middle. Sideline to sideline, not a good idea against the Carolina defense.
This is one area where Atlanta has been great this year on third down. They're second in the league in converting these. Blitz. Ryan near side hits the tight end, and that's going to come up short. What a tackle. Kurt Coleman on the stop.
Got a little melee going.
little fracas there. Hey, listen, this is an NFC South game. The Falcons are, look, they've been playing poor football, and they're a little ticked.
That was Luke Kuechly and Patrick DeMarco in the center of that, but smart football by the Carolina Panthers. They get up and they get in that double A gap look. Two guys, two linebackers right over the guard center gaps, and they put pressure in Matt Ryan's face. Knowing they have 10 yards to give, they give him 8, and a sure tackle by Kurt Coleman.
Ted Ginn back to return Matt Bosher's punt. He's had the best distance in the league this year. Ginn always a threat to return one. Bosher, high kick. Ginn calls fair catch inside the 10. So a nice kick by Bosher. Panthers start deep in their own territory. More tempers flaring here as the Panthers get the ball. Their defense makes a play. Now it's back to Cam and company with a 7-point lead.
Game is sponsored by Pepsi. Go behind the scenes of the Pepsi Super Bowl 50 halftime show only on Pepsi.com.
Well, the Falcons defense doesn't allow too many first drive touchdowns. 14 games since their last one until here today. And maybe even more impressive, Carolina did it without even a third down. And John, we were having that conversation on the field. Carolina, has been on third down decent this year, but that's not the whole story.
They don't get there much.
Yeah.
The Atlanta coaches were saying that's our task. Get them to third down. They're rarely in it because they're so good on first and second down.
And so they start deep in their own territory with Stewart. He's going to bounce to the outside, and he's got a big run. Jonathan Stewart out to the 23. So it looked like nothing turned into 16.
Let me tell you something. Here's what I know about Jonathan Stewart. The play is never over. You better keep playing on defense. He just hides behind those guys. He bounces off, and then he has the speed where he can get outside a corner. A very good back. I think this team's a better team. I love D'Angelo Williams, but I think when they have Jonathan Stewart as the lead back, I think they're a different team.
Well, Jonathan Stewart's had a great year. He's already got 2 100-yard games this year. He's got 68 yards, and they're only on their second drive. And his own read, Cam's going to keep it, and he'll be dropped at the 25. Game break time. Let's check in with Mike Hill.
Guys, Bucks in that playoff mix. Saints trying to stay alive. Marcus Costa, a 3-yard touchdown catch from Drew Brees, his second of the season. Saints on top 7-0 in Tampa. Dick, David, back to you.
All right, Mike. Yeah, Bucks playing well. 6-6 right in the mix, but they can't lose that one. Cam picked up 2 on the last play. Or 3. So we'll call it a 2nd and 7. A lot of time airing it out, looking for Ginn. He's got it. There's a flag, but he's going to go. Touchdown, and let's wait on the penalty. 74 yards if it stands.
It's going to be on the defense. I think they're getting him for illegal contact or a hold, but I think the same official missed the offensive PI on Teddy Ginn, throwing that right arm out there.
Illegal contact, defense number 23. This penalty is declined. The result of the play, touchdown.
Watch the illegal contact early, Kevin. Good call, but keep going on this play. Now watch this. The right arm separation.
Let's come on in.
You're right.
It's what Ted Ginn brings to the table, though. That blow the top off the defense, speed. He's had his drops, but Cam Newton keeps throwing to him because he can do that to a defense.
You know, I'm just curious going back to that. If he stepped out? Let's watch. No,
he's
there.
in.
One more frame, 2 more frames. No, he's in.
He's in.
All right. 74-yard touchdown again. Extra point is good. It's his longest touchdown reception, and now another fight breaks out on the field. That's being broken up quickly. Man, the tempers are flaring early, but these undefeated Panthers are flying high here in Charlotte. What a start. It was a Jonathan Stewart touchdown run early. A bomb to Ginn now, and it's 14-0 Panthers. Well, if there's any even remote question about how good Carolina is, they're 12-0. They have coming out with daggers here against their division rival. 14-0. They've got the foot on the gas, and they haven't let up. They've gotten the big plays early, a big run from Stewart, the bomb to Ginn, and now the Falcons have to wake up before it's too late. Hester will take a knee, and Atlanta will have the ball for the second time at their own 20. You know, last week, you go back to the game they lost against the Bucs, and this is not the only reason why they lost, but this was a 3rd and 19 against Jameis Winston. And after the game, Dan Quinn was furious about his team not finishing the play. And John, you see why?
Well, this is a team that's built on effort. You see guys slowing down. He's not down. And as a result, that was a huge 3rd down conversion. They've heard it. You're seeing them chippy. I talked in the open. I think they'll come out inspired. You see an inspired team. The question, Kevin, are they good enough to hang with the Carolina Panthers? Carolina Panthers are showing why they're 12-0.
They really are. And so 14-0 Panthers in a hurry. And here's Matt Ryan trying to get it back. It's DeMarco. He's really turned into a pass-catching threat for this team. He's out to the 25. He's got 5.
You're the Atlanta Falcons now, and Matt Ryan, Kyle Shanahan, the offensive coordinator. You can't panic. You got to stay with your game plan. Try to get a drive here. Make this a 1-score game. Stay with your plan.
There's Shanahan, first season here with Dan Quinn. The offense has really struggled of late. Freeman tripped up, trying to get to the edge, but boy, is Kuechly just a lightning bolt, and it's 3rd down.
It reminds me so much right there. It looked like Devontae Freeman had a big hole, and then here comes Luke Kuechly, and it's so reminiscent for me watching my old teammate, the Hall of Famer Derek Brooks. It looks like you have something, but here comes Luke. Unbelievable, the speed he plays with and the way he finishes.
3rd and 2. Blitz. Locked up, and Ryan finds his man Hardy with a nice catch, and he's got a 1st down. The rookie makes the play, but the line gave Ryan time.
Yeah, that started with protection. You're going to see Hardy get the separation. It all started with the protection. Matt Ryan sees the crosser. You have the man-on-man. Hardy makes a really nice catch. It's what Matt Ryan talks about with Justin Hardy is his strong hands. He's a natural catcher of the football.
On 1st down, we got a penalty. We got a pitch to Freeman, and he goes nowhere, losing a yard, and will wait on the penalty. Falcons offense right in the middle of the pack, John. We told you about their struggles, though.
Offside, defense number 94 lined up in the neutral zone. 5-yard penalty, repeat 1st down.
Last 7 games, they've averaged 16 points a game. It's not them. That's why they've really struggled. And as for the storylines overall for this team, angry birds because they haven't won the last 5 weeks, and they've had a chance in all of those games. Offensive chemistry, I just laid it out for you. They're not scoring, and the red zone has been a big, big factor here. Not only when they get there are they stalling, but they've turned it over in the red zone more than anybody in the NFL. 2 big problems. Penalty helps, 1st and 5. Stretch to Freeman, and he has nowhere to run. Let's go down the sidelines and we say hello to Pam Oliver.
Well, Kevin, they are not often running, but Falcons wide receiver Julio Jones told me that he feels that Atlanta has been playing not so much to win as not to lose, a huge difference. He said that's led to them playing really uptight. When they were rolling, they were playing loose, having fun, executing. All of those elements have dried up during this embarrassing slump. Kevin?
It's interesting for one of their big play guys to say something like that to Pam.
I think one of the things they need to do, Kevin, they need to throw the ball down the field. You got one of the great deep play threats in this league in Julio Jones, and they aren't doing it enough in my mind.
Ryan back to pass. Over the middle. Jones tipped, and it falls incomplete. Norman on the coverage. That's that matchup that we're going to be watching today.
I tell you what, we met with Josh Norman, and you see the eyes, the focus. This guy has been playing incredible football. He's long. He's a professional. His technique is flawless. But Kevin, I haven't seen a guy that ready to play on Friday. He was frothing at the mouth, so ready. He said, I play the game for matchups like this.
Third down and 8. It's a 4-man rush. Pressure. Ryan had to get rid of it. It's incomplete. Jared Allen came in. What a veteran sign he has been for this Panthers team. And the Falcons will punt.
Matt Ryan has protection. They don't give up a lot of sacks, but watch the push. They get pushed back into Matt Ryan. The late pressure by Kuechly. He has DeMarco, but can't get the ball to him. It's a relentless defense here in Carolina.
I said signed by Allen. They traded for him from the Bears. He hasn't gotten the sacks, John, but he's done a real nice job here. And so Atlanta will punt. Bosher's punt. And into the end zone. So the Panthers will take over on their own 23:35 to go in the first. Cam Newton and company, it's a pretty good start for them, wouldn't you say? 14 points. They are clicking. And it's 14-zip for the undefeated Panthers. Dab away, y'all. There's Roman Harper, one of the veteran leaders of this defense. 12-0 are these Panthers, up 14-0 early. What a start they have had back here in Charlotte. Third possession, already 180 total yards in this first quarter for Carolina. And they won't get any more on this particular play, as that goes nowhere. Joey Mbu playing in his first NFL game. Try and spell Mbu, John. Can you do it?
Well, I can, but
it's MBU. That's first NFL game off the practice squad for Paul Soliai on the inactive list today with an injury. So Mbu getting in there. Falcons like to rotate all of their defensive linemen so everybody sees some time. That's Cotchery in motion. They're going to run it on the near side. And Stewart has a nice cut. Going to be a third down and long. Well, Cam Newton has had quite the year. There's no doubt about it. First of all, he's a huge human being. I mean, he's bigger than most average NFL linebackers, so wrap your head around that. That's why you can't tackle him. He uses his legs. In fact, he's got more rushing touchdowns than 12 NFL teams. And then you look at touchdowns combined with his legs, with his rocket arm, with the ability that he just can't be brought down. That's why he has been outstanding this year. On 3rd and 8. Late blitz over the middle. Corey Brown has the catch. Now the spot is huge, and I think he's going to have a first down. We'll see where they put down the football. It is a first down to Corey Brown.
Well, Kevin, you mentioned all those things, and he is all of that and more. And you watch, I mean, just the arm strength. You watch the footwork. It's almost like kids, don't watch this at home. Don't try it at home, because that footwork is not correct. His front foot is not pointed at his target, but Cam Newton can get away with it because he is so athletically gifted. You talk about that size. I was standing with their GM, Dave Gettleman, the other day as we watched.
He's got time. He fires, and he's got another completion. It's Olsen, the tight end, and he is on point today is Newton. Firing darts. That's good for 17.
But Kevin, Gettleman came from the New York Giants. Long time with the New York Giants. You watch Cam Newton and that size back there. He said, you know who he reminds me of stature-wise? Michael Strahan. He's Michael Strahan. His frame, and I started looking at him. That's exactly. So forget about NFL linebackers. He's as big as NFL defensive linemen and bigger than some.
First down, pressure, stands in, throws, and somehow he completed that to Jericho Cotchery. A terrific coverage with Worlow all over him, but he got it in there. That's good for a 6-yard gain. Look at the play. I don't know how he fit it in. John, the other thing about Cam is he's got one of the great cadences in the league. Ready? Let's see if we can pick it up. He tries to get people off sides with it all the time. This so intercepted but dropped. Alford's got to pick that off right in his hands, and he can't make the play.
I tell you, Cam Newton not very happy with Devin Funchess, and nor is Ricky Prohl, the wide receiver coach. They pull Funchess off the field because you can't stop on a route like this. You're going to see Funchess. He's blocking like it's a run play. He's never even on his route. So the rookie with the mental mistake almost leads to the interception.
20 seconds to go in this first quarter. It's a 3rd down and 4. Delayed blitz, protected, airs it deep, there's Ginn, he's got it! Touchdown! What a show. What a show.
Unbelievable.
227 yards in the first quarter. It's a Panthers record. "46 yards to Ginn, so he's got a 74-yard touchdown and a 46-yard touchdown, and the Panthers are flying here in Charlotte. Going deep to Ted Ginn. Cam Newton on fire. Giving balls away to the kids. Firing balls all over the field. And these Panthers are rolling. I said 227 yards in the quarter. That was actually the old record, John. 260 first quarter yards for the Panthers. It might look as good as they've ever looked here today against Atlanta. 21-0. And they'll kick it off. Devin Hester might try and return just to get something going, and he will. Hester gets out across the 20.
You take a look at that last play, Kevin. It starts with protection. This front doing an incredible job, as is Jonathan Stewart on the late blitz. And then Teddy Ginn matched up against a linebacker. Talk about don't try that at home. Don't put a linebacker on Ted Ginn. Free safeties late. Ted Ginn in the end zone. Ron Rivera told us the other day, you know, they had Ted Ginn. He went away out to Arizona. He brought him back, and in camp he said to Ted Ginn, "Ted, you know why you're here?" He said, "Yeah, for special teams as a returner." He said, "You're here to blow the top off defenses." Well, he's doing it.
He sure is. Ryan to pass, steps away from pressure, goes far sideline. There's DeMarco, and he takes a good licking, but he should be close to a first down, and that will take us to the end of the first quarter. What a first quarter it was at Bank of America Stadium in Charlotte. Yeah, the Panthers have been on fire, that's for sure. Offense is clicking, and it's 21-0 Carolina. The numbers say it all. 260 yards to 53 for the Falcons. Falcons defense has actually played all right lately. It's been the offense, but not today. They're getting torched. And so Matt Ryan and company start the second quarter down 21. They look for something positive, and that's not going to be it. So Dan Quinn, we talked to him this week as we welcome you into the booth, John, and he said, hey, these championship situations, what he called it, we've got to find out how to respond. This is a guy that was with Seattle, won a Super Bowl. He gets it. This is a big uppercut right now. Yeah,
you know, and I think one thing that Dan Quinn and Kyle Shanahan will figure out, you look at this Carolina, their opposition today, they have built an offense around their quarterback. Right now, I question whether this is playing to the strengths of Matt Ryan, who's been a very successful quarterback in this league.
Blitz coming from the corner. He hits Freeman over the middle, and he beats it for a first down.
You know, and I really feel like Kyle Shanahan is a bright offensive mind. I love some of the things he does, but I think the number one thing as a coach is to be flexible, play to your talents, especially your quarterback. Matt Ryan is a drop back. Read the field. He's great above the neck, and then he's a great deep ball thrower. We aren't seeing the deep ball. We aren't seeing the progression reads. Some of that is inhibited by their offensive line, who I think struggles to protect him. And it's just part of learning a new system. They're learning each other.
On first down, they'll stick with the run. Freeman hard running before he meets Coleman. He's going to pick up 4. Well, let me ask you this. On throwing the deep ball, it's one thing Matt Ryan has really always done well in his career. This year, throwing balls in the air over 20 yards, he's done it 31 times. Last year, he did it 61 times. And I asked him about it, and he said, well, you know, the coverage dictates that. But you have Julio Jones. Don't you just have to take shots sometimes?
Yeah, I get it. You're going to have people on top of Julio, but sometimes I played against Randy Moss. They didn't care who was back there. They were throwing it deep, and it backs up a defense.
They'll run it again. Freeman, nice jump cut, but then he is taken down by Thomas Davis. They are so fast. Let's get a game break. Check in with Kurt Menefee.
All right, a mixed start for Seattle at Baltimore. Russell Wilson hooks up with the rookie Tyler Lockett on an 8-yard score, giving them a 7-0 lead. But on the opening drive, they lost running back Thomas Rawls for the day with an ankle injury. Of course, he's supposed to replace Marshawn Lynch. Kevin, John, and Pam.
All right, Kurt. Meanwhile, Russell Wilson coming into today, 11 touchdowns, no interceptions the last 3 weeks. 3rd down and 6. 4-man rush, Ryan, and that's going to be short of a first down. That's not going to get it done. It was Roddy White. Finnegan on the coverage. Looks like they're going to go.
Cortland Finnegan, yet another veteran that they've brought in. Jared Allen came in. They continue to build the depth of this team as they make their playoff, their championship run. Ron Rivera, Dave Gettleman have done a great job of bringing veterans in like that.
On 4th down, they'll throw it. Ryan surveying over the middle to White, and he has got it. He goes back to the old veteran, and he picks up the first down, and more tempers flare. And there's a late flag.
There's 2 guys who have played a lot of football against each other. Roman Harper's been in this division for years, was with New Orleans, now with the Carolina Panthers. But these division matchups late in the year, a lot at stake. They're going to get like this.
After the conclusion of the play, unsportsmanlike conduct, defense number 41. 15-yard penalty will be added to the end of the play and an automatic first down.
John, we're talking about, to see the end of the play, about going deep to Julio Jones and getting Jones involved. He leads the league in catches. He leads the league in yards. The reality is they need a number 2. They need somebody else to step up today. Maybe it's him.
And I think this is a good development. Is Roddy White what he once was? No. He doesn't have that speed. He doesn't have that separation. But I think you've got to get him involved, because that will in turn open up Julio Jones.
Let's say often in the second quarter the Falcons need a touchdown, but they need to settle this game down. They'll throw it. Pump. Oh, Ryan is drilled. Ball comes out way back at the 45, and Julio Jones all the way back to recover. K1 Short, his 8th sack of the year.
And that's just terrible protection by the Falcons. Kyle Shanahan drawing up a play that I like. He pumps out to the side on the fake bubble, then he's going to go down the field. But Levitra, the left guard, just gets run by K1 Short, who's playing just at really high level for the Carolina Panthers in the middle of that defense.
Well, so much for the good feelings for Atlanta. It's 2nd and 36. Get Jones involved. Julio looking for some blocks. Going to get some of it back. Down to the 40. Cortland Finnegan was there on the tackle.
Kevin Kwan Short, defensive tackle. That's his 8th sack of the year in his 13th game. He's playing, and he plays the run incredibly well. So this guy, Kwan Short, playing at a very, very high level.
The 2nd round draft pick out of Purdue. You know, they got a couple defensive tackles. They got Star Latulele in the 1st round. They picked Kwan Short in the 2nd round that year. Both starters for this team. Just your run-of-the-mill 3rd and 30. Ryan over the middle. Freeman dropped it. Oh, when it rains, it pours. And now you go from going for it and converting on 4th down, being down to the 20, to punting.
But look, Devontae Freeman, he's a courageous player, but he felt Thomas Davis. And you feel this Carolina defense coming from all angles. Watch the finish. They give you some space, but then they're flying and they're going to hit you. Thomas Davis coming, Devontae Freeman feels it.
Bosher will punt it away. The way today's going, I wouldn't let Ted Ginn touch this ball. He's already got 2 scores. Call fair catch here, and he makes the grab at about the 8. Panthers will have it one more time. Their defense has been outstanding today. So is the offense, and they're up 21-zip.
Today's game is sponsored by T-Mobile. Ditch your carrier and switch to the Un-carrier.
Oh, the Falcons, everything's gone wrong for them today, and it has really for the last 5 games. They've lost 5 in a row. They've been in every game. They're not in this one. Carolina has come out with the pedal to the floor, and their offense has 260 total yards with 9:30 to go in the 1st half. Not normal. Inside the 10, they'll start this drive, and they'll go far sideline to Devin Funchess, the rookie. During the break, something you don't see all the time, the head coach with nearly the entire team around him.
That's the entire offense he's got around him. And Matt Ryan, Dan Quinn gives him a piece of his mind. Then Matt Ryan in there talking about this. And this is leadership. And what this team, I think they understand, they aren't going to win the whole thing this year. But Dan Quinn is convinced they're going to turn this program, this organization around. And a lot of what they do now is going to affect them in the future.
You get a Carolina timeout on the field here, so they call their first timeout. And we will call a timeout as well. Panthers, their football, their lead. During the break, Ron Rivera, hot would be an understatement because he's usually emotionless on the sideline.
He doesn't like, you come out of a break, you have to use a timeout because of personnel substitution issues. He had every right to be upset.
On 2nd down, looking at Stewart. And working his way across the 15 to the 16. Be a 3rd down. So now this is regular speed. Let's watch.
That's Ron Rivera, not the coach. That's Ron Rivera, the linebacker coming out. He's still got it in him.
Watch some old highlights of him with the Bears. I wouldn't want to be hit by Ron Rivera, I'll tell you that. 3rd down and 2. Play clock at 3. The zone read. Cam's going to keep it. Avoids a sack. Now in trouble. It's going to throw it away. The Falcons were all over it, and the defense makes a much needed stand.
Well, that's a really good defense. 3rd and 2. That's an advantageous situation for the offense, but all over the zone read. They take away Stewart. Cam keeps it. Rashid Hageman all over him, and Cam can only throw it away.
Falcons have missed Devin Hester this year. He just came back last week, and even though Eric Weems did a nice job in his absence, this guy is obviously one of the greats in NFL history. Just wonder if he's 100%. He had a bad toe injury, and that's tough for a guy with speed. See if you get a chance to return one. Flag flies. Hester dancing around. Good return, but we wait on the penalty, and that may be coming on back after the 49-yard punt by Norton. So let's see what the penalty is. A lot of discussion here for this. The flag came out very early in the play.
Personal foul, unnecessary roughness. Receiving team number 36 was blocking a player while he was out of bounds. This 15-yard penalty will be enforced from the end of the kick. First down.
That's on Kamal Ismail, one of the backup safeties. Falcons have the ball, looking for something on offense.
Game is sponsored by the all-new Fiat 500X crossover.
It is the holiday season in Carolina, and the Panthers have taken plenty from the Falcons early. 21-0. Atlanta looking for something on offense, and Matt Ryan trying to give it to him, and that'll help. Get it to the big playmaker. It's Julio Jones, and that's good for a first down. You know, John, we go back to that shot we had a few minutes ago when Dan Quinn had the whole offense around and Matt Ryan fired up. And, you know, Matt Ryan's a guy who did nothing but winning when he came into the head. You know, got this team 10 yards from a Super Bowl in 2012. And, you know, I asked him about dealing with the losing, and he said it's easy to say time to toss it in, but not the player he is.
No, he said you got an opportunity every Sunday, and he's talking about this. What an opportunity to go change our fortunes. He's going to fight.
Has time here, coming near side, just missed. He was looking for Roddy White, and he underthrew him a bit. Game break time. Let's check in with Kurt Menefee.
All right, Philadelphia and Buffalo each trying to stay alive in their respective playoff hunts. Sam Bradford hooking up with the rookie Nelson Aguilar, 53 yards on the score, and it puts Philadelphia up by a touchdown in the second quarter. Kevin, John, and Penn.
Kurt, thanks. Eagles, Giants, Redskins. Who wants the NFC East?
I tell you what, Philly made a statement last week. I don't care who New England doesn't have. It's hard to go into Foxborough and get a win.
Sure is. Second down, they'll run it. Freeman. A yard. That's it. Well, the NFC East, you wonder who's going to take charge at this point. It's going to come down to the wire. Washington is winning in Chicago 14-0 today. And the Giants play Monday night. And even Dallas, they're right there at 4-8. Hard to believe. It happened some years. Of course, Dallas, Green Bay, that's America's game of the week. It'll be later coming up on Fox. Important game for both teams. Third down and 9. Four-man rush. Ryan complete, and he's got a first down. It's going back to Roddy White, who hauls it in, and he moves the chains 13 yards.
That's good protection by the Atlanta offensive line. Matt Ryan is a step-up quarterback. He needs to step up in the pocket. Watch how this pocket develops. You see the C shape to it, the cup, and that allows Matt Ryan to step up in the pocket. What's happened too much to this Atlanta Falcons offensive line is like a trash compactor Matt Ryan's in. They just get pushed back into him, and then he can't step up.
Flag comes out, coming near side. And Ryan has a completion to Justin Hardy. But let's see what the penalty is.
Illegal substitution offense. Number 42 came all the way to the huddle and returned to the sideline. 5-yard penalty, first down.
It's a little bit of a point of emphasis after it happened a couple times in the Panthers-Saints game last week and wasn't called. And so it's 1st and 15. That's DeMarco, the fullback. Penalty was on him. 5:51 and counting to go in this first half. Falcons have lost 5 straight games, but yeah, you look at the games, all 5 of them, they've lost them by 3, by 1, by 3, by 10, and by 4. Pressure from Davis, picked up initially, and then Ryan gets it to Julio Jones. Going to pick up about 5. Let's check in with Mike Hill for another game break.
A big blow for the Bengals. Andy Dalton out with a thumb injury and a cast, so A.J. McCarron has to step up, and stepped up big time. Finds A.J. Green 66 yards for the score. McCarron's first career touchdown pass. Still is up 13-7 in the second. Kevin, John, back to you.
Oh, that's enormous.
Well, thumb and right thumb is what I saw. Not good.
Oh, I mean, the Bengals trying to get the #1 seed at 10-2, so that's a developing story. Second down, quickly unloads to Tammy, the tight end, who puts the shoulder down and is knocked out of bounds just before the 45, though a makeable third down is coming up. Well, you look at the AFC playoff picture. Right now, the Bengals are the #1 seed. So having Andy Dalton now for a foreseeable future with an injury to his throwing thumb is big. 3rd and 3. Pressure. Ryan goes down. Thomas Davis wrapped him up.
Thomas Davis. They employ the double-A look. There's Thomas right there. He's going to come. He's going to run right through Devontae Freeman. That man, as my old friend Warren Sapp used to say, should be eating some pineapple. He needs to go to Hawaii. His 6th sack of the year for Thomas Davis. He does it in the run game, the pass game. He rushes the quarterback. He's playing extraordinary football.
And another punt for Atlanta. Bosher high but a little short. Again, fair catch. Well, first it was the Carolina offense that started off, and this defense hasn't allowed much for the Falcons. 21-0 Panthers. Matt Ryan trying to find some answers, and it's pretty tough to do because this Carolina defense is fast, and they are all over the field so far.
Yeah, you can play with emotion. They're outmanned right now. Carolina's the better football team, and Atlanta's got to change that with good drafting and free agent acquisitions.
We're going to run it near side. Stewart. Physical run for just 2 yards. Justin Durant in on the play. Well, I'd say it's gone well for this Carolina offense, and the big plays they've gotten too. They've been right around the middle of the pack and getting the big plays because they run it more than anybody else, but it hasn't been an issue today. They had a 44-yard run from Stewart, they had a 74-yard touchdown to Ted Ginn, and then a 46-yard touchdown to Ted Ginn. 2nd and 7. And to set up a screen to Stewart. He's got some room, gets a block, first down, and across the 35. Nice block from Trey Turner, the right guard, and another first down.
Well, Kevin, when you talk about Cam Newton, I think so much is what he's doing at the line of scrimmage. And that particular play, he checked to that play. We're seeing it over and over. They're handing him the keys to the car, so to speak. Mike Shula, the offensive coordinator. They've given more to Cam, and he's handling it. Ron Rivera, his head coach, says it's like Madden to him without the controller. He is the controller.
And he controls this throw to Mike Tolbert over the middle. And he's going to be close to a first down. Well, when you look at Cam Newton in his 5th year now, he just looks so comfortable. The former Heisman winner, national champ. Here's how he shapes up in the MVP race with all these great players this year. His 32 total touchdowns, 2nd in the NFL. And John, you think he is the league's MVP?
Well, that's how I have him in order. And, you know, you can look at all the numbers, but the guy's winning. He hadn't lost. And then just the eye test. He's doing so much, throwing the football at the line of scrimmage, in the run game. He affects this team. I think he's the best player in football right now.
And he's playing like it again today. These Panthers trying to go to 13-0. We've hit the 2-minute warning in Charlotte, 21-0. It's our director, Artie Kempner, in the Santa costume, using iTunes. Get apps, videos, and more at iTunes.com/NFL. Pete Macheska, our producer in the white beard with a blue Santa costume on. Good job as always, boys. Glad to have you here in Charlotte. Pam Oliver, John Lynch, I'm Kevin Burkhardt. 2 minutes to go in the first half. Panthers football up 21. And Cam's going to keep it. And the Falcons, Ishmael all over it. But the one thing the Falcons defense hasn't fallen for it today. They've been all over that zone read play.
Yeah, they've been very good on that zone read play, and they gave it a lot of attention this week. Talking to Dan Quinn, He said one of the challenges against this Carolina team, they throw so much at you in their run game alone. The traditional two-back stuff, the gun runs, the quarterback gun runs, a lot to prepare for, but the thing that I notice, they block it all very well.
3rd and 1.
Stopped him there, too.
I don't think he got it. Cam is bent backwards here. You got to be careful. Looks like he's in some pain here in that pile. It's about the last thing you want to see if you're a Panthers fan.
Wow, they gave him that first down.
Based on what?
I have no idea.
So it is a first down. Let's watch again.
Watch, he doesn't move. That ball is not over. Now the yellow line is unofficial, but that is the line to gain approximately. And
Dan Quinn can challenge us if he wants.
well, this is challenged from up top within 2 minutes.
Oh, right, we are within 2 minutes. Good point, John.
And they are challenging it, and I think this will be overturned.
Yeah, reviewing it, better way to describe it, with 49 seconds to go in the first half. So they will look at it. Why we've got a moment while the booth looks at this play. Let's check in with Kurt Menefee.
Coming up on the Visa halftime, do the Kansas City Chiefs get their 7th straight win? Will LaShawn McCoy be homecoming king in Philly? And can the Bengals take the throne as the kings of the North? Plenty of questions out there. We'll try and answer them for you coming up on the Visa halftime.
Apparently Kurt and I got the memo of the pink tie, John. You did not. You went rogue with the Navy, although I like yours. They moved the chains already to first down as they look at this play. But I'm with you. I didn't see any movement forward on that particular play at all. Now, granted, the yellow line is for us. It's not on the field, but just look at his forward progress.
He's short. He doesn't
didn't go anywhere. Here's a good angle.
You see the sticks there, and he's short of the line to gain. Now, is that enough to overturn it? I think so.
Tony Corrente looking at the play, tucking in with New York. I mean, you would think now with 49 seconds left, you wouldn't take a chance if this is reversed and go for it. I think we're finally going to get the call here. This is taking a while. Here's Tony Corrente.
After review, the ruling on the field of a first down will stand.
They must have had another camera we didn't have, John. I just don't know what they saw. Oh, boy. Anyway, 1st and 10 for the Panthers.
No comprende. I don't get it.
Here's the thing. That's a big call. Instead of the Falcons potentially getting the ball back, got 2 timeouts left, says Carolina. And he comes near side, does Newton, incomplete. He was looking for Corey Brown on the play. So a 2nd down and 10. Got off to such a quick start. Falcons defense has actually stabilized a little bit since then, but they took such a haymaker early. Panthers had 260 yards in the first quarter. They've outgained Atlanta 295 to 97 in this game. 4-man rush. Newton off his back foot fires. Corey Brown, what a catch. And he's out of bounds too. Inside the 30, they're going to mark him down at the 28. It's a gain of 26.
Cam Newton hurting a little bit. He's going to take a knee. But this throw, I mean, my goodness, watch the hit. But this throw is just another laser. Don't know what happened. You wonder back to that 4th down the third down the quarterback sneak, if that's when he got tweaked. But look at this throw. I mean, you talk about in a tight window, right on the right side where only Corey Brown can catch it. That's a big time throw.
Fans react because Newton jogs off the field under his own power. Looking at that left hand. Derek Anderson, the veteran, has been their longtime backup quarterback. And Anderson is a good backup quarterback. He came in and won 2 games for him last year when they had that drive for the playoffs. As the MVP chance start here in Charlotte. Anderson comes on in. 11th year man, originally from Oregon State, former Pro Bowler with the Browns, and got a chance to put some points on the board for Carolina. 33 seconds left in the half. They've got 1 timeout. Already in field goal range for Graham Gano. Anderson looking to throw over the middle. He's got a completion inside the 5. It is Brown. How about that call to the bullpen?
I love it. Derek Anderson comes in and says, hey, Cam, this MVP stuff's not that hard. He comes in. I love it. Cam Newton goes and gives him a little appreciation. But I love the aggressiveness. Don't come in hand it off. Come in, let the experienced veteran sling the ball downfield. That's exactly what Derek Anderson does.
That's a great reaction, too. Anderson's as good a backup as there is in the league. He really is.
You just mentioned it. He's been to a Pro Bowl. He's had a lot of starts. That's what you want at that backup quarterback position. And that's the thoroughness of this. Yes, they have stars, but they also have so many good role players here in Carolina. This roster has been constructed beautifully by Dave Gettleman, the general manager, and Ron Rivera, the head coach.
So, Panthers use their final timeout. They are reviewing this just to make sure that Corey Brown had this ball. We'll look at the angles that we had. It looked initially like he did. But we'll take a look at some more of these angles. It's been a long 2 minutes here. Let's watch this side of things.
See the.
Now there's a couple things here, John. First is the ruling of a catch on the field. Second, the ball can move, but you have to have possession, and I'm not sure that he did, looking at it that way. We have Mike Pereira from LA. Mike, what's your take on these replays here?
Yeah, it was interesting because we started looking at it immediately. Did he really have total control of the ball before the ball turned over and hit the ground? He did maintain control after, I will say that much. But it almost looks like the ball really turns over on this shot. You watch it with the right hand, now rolls to the ground right there. If I had my druthers and was under the booth, I would probably overturn this because he's going to the ground and the ball touches the ground, and I don't think he really demonstrated clear control. But I must say, as we saw on the line to gain play, they're pretty much staying with the calls that are being made on the field, that's for sure.
Yeah, that's been a theme.
Are you on that new catch committee, Mike?
No, they didn't. They don't seem to ask me for my opinion very often anymore. I'm not so sure. I'm not so sure why.
You should be.
I think I've got it now, though. I'm really happy. I think the first thing you had to do is you on your feet or you're going to the ground. Well, this is clearly going to the ground, and so that adds the other element.
The ruling on the field will stand as a completed pass and a first down for Carolina.
Mike hit it exactly. Mike, we appreciate you make it so easy. And yeah, it certainly looked like it was questionable. They are going more and more just sticking what's on the field unless it's absolutely, you could tell. Well, Panthers may get the benefit of a couple calls in this drive, that's for sure. No timeouts, first and goal, 26 seconds to go. Newton, the throw, and end zone incomplete. Looking for Olsen. And he's a little slow to get up as he grabs his left knee. Well, it's not good. Greg Olsen is a leader. He's a star for this team. Let's watch the play.
See him get hit and bend back on that left knee, and You talk about players that you could ill afford to lose. Greg Olsen is right at the top of that list, playing at such a high level. Really Cam Newton's top target.
He made the Pro Bowl for the first time last year. And John, as you alluded to earlier, his receiving has gotten better and better. And well, that's a good sign.
Kevin, he's a guy, he doesn't come off the field either. I mean, he plays nearly every snap, and he has for the last 3 years.
He's played almost 99% of the Panthers' plays this year, which is unheard of for a tight end. And as far as tight ends go, only Jason Witten has a higher percentage, but he's played the most plays coming into today. He said it's a great sense of pride for him to be on the field for all the passing plays, but for the blocking plays too.
And when I played against him early in his career, the scouting report was pass catching tight end. Now he's become that complete player.
So they check on Olsen, and a second and goal with 22 seconds to go. Newton zips it in, and we've got a touchdown. Ed Dixon, the backup tight end. Penalty coming in. So hang on.
Pass interference, defense number 23. This penalty is declined. Result of the play, touchdown.
Kevin, all over my notes this week. The name Brett Favre was on my notes when it came to Cam Newton. You look at the tremendous catch, but the reason why, when I played against Brett Favre, the velocity that he threw the ball with in the end zone, that's how you get it in those tight windows. That ball has some cheese on it. Cam Newton firing, and these Carolina Panthers receiving targets have learned how to catch it. This thing is a well-oiled machine offensively in Carolina right now.
So let me get this straight, as Gano will attempt the extra point, and he slips it in there. The quarterback, Cam Newton, goes out for a play for an injury. The backup comes in and fires a first down for 26 yards. Then the start tight end goes out, and Ed Dixon, the backup, who plays a lot, obviously, but he comes in and catches a touchdown.
I think it speaks to the depth of this team. You talk about stars, you talk about depth. They have it all in Carolina, and that's why they're well on their way to their 17th straight regular season win.
How about the first half from Cam Newton? 12 of 17, 246 yards, 3 touchdowns. It's the best first half of his career, and that is great. That's something that Cam has started. And in that shot, he's about as hot as Steph Curry is in the NBA, even though they lost last night. That's maybe the biggest concern right now. They cannot have him out. Walking okay, at least. We'll check on Greg Olsen as we go to the break.
Kevin, you know, they've clinched, you know, in terms of the playoffs. And we talked to Ron Rivera, and we asked him about the approach if they continue to be undefeated. Are they going to rest players? And he said, we'll play each game as I see fit. We'll take it as it goes. He talked about 05. He was on that Chicago Bears staff with the Chicago Bears. They rested some players, and he said players came back rusty in the playoffs. He doesn't want to do that.
This one out of the end zone, and the Falcons will have it with 17 seconds to go in the half. What if you died and then were brought back to life? This January, one man will find out. From the executive producer of X-Files in 24 comes the intriguing new drama Second Chance. Series premiere Wednesday, January 13th, and it's on Fox. It's a pretty good track record of shows with the X-Files in 24, so that should be interesting. As Ed Dixon, in his 6th year, has his 2nd touchdown catch of the season. Falcons will take it in and go to the locker room and try and figure out what in the world hit him in this first half. The Cam Newton Show, and it is a good show, I'll tell you. 28-0 for the undefeated Panthers over the Falcons. Kurt and the fellows from LA with a halftime show coming at you. Today's excitement is brought to you by Nissan. Airs it deep. There's Ginn. He's got it. Touchdown. What a show. What a show.
Unbelievable.
And the Panthers are flying here in Charlotte. And that was today's excitement, brought to you by Nissan. Yeah, these Panthers 12-0, and they've looked every bit of it here today. Cam Newton, he got a little tweaked on the quarterback sneak late in the half. Derek Anderson came in and threw one pass, and you wonder, wonderful play, quite honestly. It's 28-0 as we get set for the second half, and we welcome you back inside the booth. He's John Lynch, 9-time Pro Bowl safety, and I'm Kevin Burkhardt. How about from the Falcons' perspective now? I mean, what do you do if you're Dan Quinn? You've lost 5 in a row and then this.
Well, look, when we talked with Matt Ryan, he said the bottom line, forget about all this chemistry. We got to score points.
Yeah.
Well, they have 0 points right now. They're going up against a team that just is outmatching them right now. You're building for the future if you're the Atlanta Falcons right now. You got to come out and compete in this second half.
We'll see if they can do just that. Falcons, you remember, won the toss and deferred, so they will get the ball here. And Hester will come up and take it around the 2. Tries to get a block. Nice return. Devin Hester doing what he does best. Brought down across the 35. A couple of key injuries to look at near the end of the half. Let's go down and check on that with Pam Oliver.
Yeah, Kevin, but first, Dan Quinn walking in with him. He was relatively upbeat despite the carnage, but he says we have got to play poised. He is surprised they came out and played the way they did in the first half. Now for those injuries, Ron Rivera told me that tight end Greg Olsen and that knee, that it is nothing serious. He will wear a sleeve and see how it goes. Meantime, Jonathan Stewart is the one to worry about. He may have sprained his foot. Back to you.
Ooh. All right, Pam, thanks very much. So, and that's the thing, John, what you were talking about is first down. Ryan gets jacked and incomplete for Toilolo as Luke Kuechly came in at a flash and hit Matt Ryan. But that's the thing to talk about as we look at Kuechly here is you know, Rivera, how do you determine who to play, who to not, and watch these injuries going forward?
Well, I know one thing, you keep that guy in 59, my goodness. But I tell you what Pam just said about Jonathan Stewart, as I look through this roster, we mentioned Greg Olsen. Well, Jonathan Stewart, who's the backup? Fozzie Whitaker's really a third down back. Not a whole lot behind Jonathan Stewart.
He's having maybe his finest professional season. Play clocking issue, down to 2. They'll get it off. Ryan near side has Tammy the tight end. And he shoved out of bounds around the 45. Let's go back and look at the Greg Olsen play. This was in the end zone. And watch his left knee here, number 88.
He gets sandwiched in between 2 defenders and bent back. The positive thing is that here he is. He ran out of the locker room. He's doing drills. Whether he plays or not, I'm not sure. But the good thing is he's out moving around. And the report that Ron Rivera gave Pam.
So a third down for Atlanta. They're just 2 of 7 on third down today, and they've been the second best team in the league on third down coming in. Ryan hit as he throws, incomplete again. Looking for Julio Jones, but Ryan took another hit. Thomas Davis, Kuechly around it as well.
I want you to watch this. The AA. They got 2 defensive linemen. What are they going to do? They're going to rush? Not so fast. They're both dropping out in coverage. Catches Matt Ryan by surprise as he's hit. Sean McDermott, the defensive coordinator for the Carolina Panthers, drawing up all kinds of different looks. That look is just going roughshod all over the league, that AA. And the tough thing about it, you can bring so many different people, so many different variations from it.
Another punt for Matt Bosher. Again, watches it sail over his head. And the Panthers will start on their own 20-yard line. Well, in this first half, the Panthers got off to a wonderful start. Scored touchdowns their first 3 possessions. Newton went deep to Ted Ginn for 74 yards. He found Ginn again. That one was from 46 yards. Got some running from Stewart and then fired a sidearm fastball to Ed Dixon for 28 points first half. And everybody's putting up numbers today. Newton 246, 3 touchdowns. Stewart 75 yards as he's closing in on a 1,000-yard season. But as Pam mentioned, the foot injury of concern, not only for today, but for going forward. So Newton is in there to start this half. Stewart is not. They have Tolbert and Fozzie Whitaker in the backfield. Give it to Whitaker. And he gets to the line of scrimmage and not much more for Brooks Reed. Tyson Jackson hit him.
The nice thing you do have, Kevin, though, with Carolina is in Mike Tolbert, you've got kind of the Swiss Army knife that can do so much. He's a fullback, but he's very experienced and adept at carrying the football as well. So not only do you have Fozzie Whitaker, when you want to go to that bigger back, Mike Tolbert can carry the load.
I have to think that if Stewart still has his uniform on, that's at least good news about the foot. Don't want to overstate it, don't want to speculate. See he and Olsen on the sidelines. 2nd down and 9. First possession of the second half for these Panthers. And there is that Swiss Army knife, Tolbert. And he's going to pick up a couple. He was a Pro Bowler a couple years ago for his versatility. Catch the ball out of the backfield.
You don't look at your chart much and see 5'9", 250. And I think 250, that ain't, I played against Mike Tolbert. It's more like 260.
You're lucky enough if he scores, he then does the Carlton after a touchdown pass, John. So you never know. 3rd down and 7. 4-man rush. Newton spinning away. Back near his own goal line now. Just dancing around casually. And finally taken down by Beasley. So Vic Beasley picks up his 3rd sack after all the dance routine. Let's get a game break with Mike Hill.
All right, guys, Steelers and the Bengals. Andy Dalton out with a right thumb injury. A.J. McCarron in and getting picked on by William Gay. 23-yard pick six. It's 23-7 Steelers in the 3rd. Kevin, John, back to you.
I tell you, the Pittsburgh Steelers coming on. Their one loss of late has been against Seattle, who is blazing hot. But they gave Seattle everything that they could handle.
They're right now on the outside looking in. Jets and Kansas City are ahead of them. Both the Jets and KC winning today. Here's the punt by Nortman, and it's a rocket. Hester all the way back to the 25. And now Hester just going nowhere. Trying to make something happen for this Falcons team. You can't blame them. But Teddy Williams was all over it. 65-yard punt, a return of -1. The Newton actually gets sacked, and the Falcons get the ball back. They got a lot of work to do, though.
Today's game is sponsored by Southwest. Transparency, low fares, nothing to hide.
Panthers banging the drum today, trying to go 13-0. 28-0 they lead. Falcons football. Here's Devontae Freeman. Breaking off tackles. Good run by Freeman. I'll tell you one thing. The Falcons clearly have some issues to work out right now after that good start, but they have a heck of a player for their future in Freeman.
Oh, they do. They really do. Devontae Freeman, so versatile. He can do it in the run game. He can do it in the pass game. And above all else, he's a winner. He's a great spirit about him.
Coming near side, looking to make 2 people miss, and he does. What a run by Freeman. Man, that was special. Out to the 41. He's going to pick up 9 yards and a first down.
That move right there. He put the brakes on. Kurt Coleman brings him down. But watch at the beginning of this run. Devontae Freeman, Coney Ely there, Josh Norman there, and he leaves them both.
Luke Kuechly just came off the field for Carolina. Keep our eyes on him. Freeman lost the ball. He caught it, he lost it. Carolina says they have it. And they do.
You mentioned it earlier. Olsen goes out, Dixon catches a ball. Well, now Kuechly goes out. A.J. Klein forces the fumble. This team has a lot of depth, and not just depth in terms of guys, depth that can play.
And so a turnover for Atlanta. Can't get anything going. They're being shut out in Charlotte.
Game is sponsored by the Ford F-150. Every other truck is history.
Back in Charlotte, Bank of America Stadium, traditional bowl, and it's 28-0 Panthers over the Falcons. Newton back to throw. He will do just that. And there is Mike Tolbert in the flat. inside the 40 on first down. There was some concern. I told you the last play Luke Kuechly came out when the Panthers were on defense. Looked like they were working on his ankle there on the sideline, and they still are. The right ankle, which he had taped up.
I think that's the thing to note for Carolina. Greg Olsen, Jonathan Stewart, Luke Kuechly, 3 of your stars, 3 of your best players have been injured. To what degree, we don't know, but 3 of your stars have been injured today.
Newton, of course, went out initially, but he's back in there fine. Here's a jet sweep to Brown. Corey Brown has a first down inside the 30. Good run from the man formerly known as Philly. Got some grass to boot in the helmet.
Go back to that Luke Kuechly injury. There he is. Don't see a whole lot, but that's where we think he had the ankle injury. Taped that right ankle.
And he kind of hobbled off after that. Don't worry, Pam Oliver's on it. She'll check in, and we'll see how he's doing. 1st and 10 Panthers. From the 30, it's Whitaker. They're going to toss it coming back to Ginn. Cam throws a block. Ginn trying to get to the edge, and he's going to pick up about 5. Guess when your quarterback's the size of a linebacker, he can throw blocks, huh?
We talked earlier, all the volume they throw. We just saw a jet sweep. Now you see the reverse, and watch Cam Newton. Tosses it. Here comes the reverse. Brooks Reed, here you go. Cam Newton doing everything for the Carolina Panthers.
He's fun to watch, John. He's having an MVP season, and he is fun to watch. Back to throw it over the middle. Jericho Cotchery, who is thrown down, appears to be just shy of a first down, so it'll be a 3rd down and short. You know, with Ginn, he's had the 2 big plays today, and you told the story about Rivera, how he said, hey, you're here to blow the top off. He had an interesting comparison to him when he met with him the other day.
Willie Galt, the old track star that was on his Bears Super Bowl team. And I think the similarity is they can flat out run. And when you can flat out run, you can affect defenses. And that's what I love about Ron Rivera. A lot of people, he doesn't care about other people's opinions of players. He's going to evaluate them for himself and say, here's their strengths, now let's play to them. That's what the great coaches do.
3rd and 1, they fake the run and going for a completion and a penalty flag. It's Funchess who makes the catch and a penalty. He says it's on Atlanta.
Pass interference, defense number 23. The penalty is declined. The result to the play, completed pass and first down.
Devin Funchess really emerging of late. A big receiver, stands 6'4", sure looks 6'5" to me. And Cam Newton really starting to trust him. You see the sidearm angles. But the thing that is consistent with Cam Newton, he is letting go of that ball, letting it rip. He can throw it with touch, but most of the time he's ripping that ball into tight windows.
Newton looks like he's going to run. Nope. Looking to throw. Flag. He runs out of bounds.
Holding, offense, number 74. 10-yard penalty, repeat, first down.
Mike Rimmers right here on Paul Warlow with the hold.
So far this drive, you heard the injury reports from Pam coming out of the break. Jonathan Stewart has not played. Greg Olsen has not played. They had Scott Simonson, 3rd tight end, in their number 80 in that last series, along with Ed Dixon. There they are on the sidelines. So back to the 20. Here's Whitaker. Nice jump cut from Fozzie. Inside the 15 to the 14, he's got 6. We know Pam Oliver's always on the case, right, Pam? What do you have for us?
Well, Kevin, Luke Kuechly was reluctant to even go over to the trainer's table to get looked at, but he eventually acquiesced. They retaped that right ankle. He simply rolled on it. It's deemed fine, and good luck holding him out. Back to you.
Thanks, Pam. Great report from the senior correspondent.
You were waiting to drop that title in. There you go. So Kuechly always wants to be in there. Second down. Goal to go. Newton to throw. Pocket collapses. Flag flies, and he goes down. Dropped by Jonathan Babineau, and we've got the penalty too. Just waiting on the call.
Illegal use of the hands of the face, offense number 74. The penalty is declined, and the result for the play, third down.
So they keep moving back, and it's a 3rd and goal.
Here's Mike Remmers with the hands to the face on Vic Beasley and Jonathan Babineau. But if you're looking for a positive for the Atlanta Falcons, Kevin, they came into today last in the NFL with only 13 sacks. They now have 2 of them. Dan Quinn emphasized that. We've got to learn to finish. Talked about secondary moves. They're doing that here today.
It's a 3rd and goal. Newton near side for Funchess, incomplete. Threw it out of bounds. Pretty good coverage there. And so the Panthers will actually attempt a field goal here. Graham Gano onto the field. He actually, we're told, went through the concussion protocol. Remember, he made a tackle before on Hester. So not often you see a kicker going through that, but apparently he's all right. This will be a 38-yard field goal. 25 of 30 on the year for Gano. And he punches that through. And it's 31-0. Carolina.
This game is sponsored by Burger King. Now get 10 chicken nuggets for $1.49 only at BK.
Santa Claus apparently has come to town. That makes Eric Mandia, or AD, happy. So Graham Gano gets some action today, a 38-yard field goal after a 9-play, 23-yard penalty field drive, but still more points for these Panthers. They've dominated today. No ifs, ands, or buts about it. Devin Hester back to receive, and he won't have a chance to return that one. It's out of the end zone. Green Park at Uptown here in Charlotte, pointing you in the direction. I'm curious which one points in the road of undefeated. So these Panthers are going.
I'm Colin Coward, and Cam Newton came into this game as my MVP pick. But can he really pull it off for the rest of the season? I'll get you into that and everything else you need to know after a busy NFL weekend. That's tomorrow on The Herd, noon Eastern on FS1.
Hey, Colin, I think you're still safe with that bet because Cam has played one heck of a game here today. 265 yards passing, 3 touchdowns, and now it's Matt Ryan trying to get something going. Falcons being shut out. Ooh, boy, somebody got taken out on the sideline. Jim Kimmons, our cameraman. I hope that he's okay. That was a hard shot.
Attaboy, Jim.
That's
what
tough.
our guys do. They pop up.
Now that's tough. Want to be a cameraman, huh, John? And a 3rd down is coming up for the Falcons. It's Freeman with a short gain.
And you like this. They're putting Matt Ryan obviously down 31-0. But I think this is something you need to do more. Matt Ryan throughout his career has thrived on tempo, on pushing the pace, no huddle. Now they're putting him in that situation.
3rd and 4. Blitz is coming. Ryan gets rid of it. Jones goes down to catch it. Did he do it? He did. 1st down. Josh Norman says no, it hit the ground, but Julio Jones did. Looked like he got it. And so the Falcons move the chains. Over the middle, Hardy can't make the play. So these Falcons, they started out 5-0, and look at the points. They're averaging almost 33 points a game. 1-6 since. They're not scoring. They're turning the ball over with alacrity. And Well, I think there's a lot to do here. Part of me thinks that, hey, Dan Quinn, I think we both think he's going to turn this team around. But, John, I think in some ways maybe that 5-0 start kind of set the bar to an unrealistic level to what the Falcons aren't, at least yet.
Maybe this is more of the reality. I don't think this bad, but somewhere in the middle is what the reality. They've got to make up ground on teams like the Panthers to compete with them.
Ryan gets away, dropped it, picks it up, and then throws it out of bounds. Well, that was interesting. K'Wan Short, who has a sack already today, got pressure.
Well, Matt Ryan under duress. K'Wan Short goes after that ball. Matt Ryan has the wherewithal to stick with it, doing his best. Garo, you premium.
Falcons break the huddle. And then there's a timeout by the officials on the field here. Not sure what the discussion's about. The clock issue? It was a clock issue. They had to reset the clock for a bit. And so they do it. And so it's a 3rd and 10 for Atlanta. Only 135 total yards here today. And on 3rd down, they haven't been great either. Four-man rush, but still pressure. Ryan spins away, dropped again. Ball comes out at the end. They say Ryan was down. The signal is he was down on the sack. It's Short again, his 9th sack of the year. They're like an avalanche, John, this defense.
Yeah, they really are. And this Atlanta offensive line, I said the numbers don't really tell the story. A simple stunt, you ought to be able to pick that up. Matt Ryan tries to step up. Instead, he's got a Carolina Panther right in his face. He has no other choice but to escape. Let's see if he is down. Ball's loose. So now you got to look if there was a clear recovery by the Carolina Panthers. But that ball is out.
Carolina is challenging the ruling on the field of the quarterback being down by contact.
It's 100% a fumble. I thought initially Carolina did recover. Let's see. And, oh, they did. That's their ball. That'll be overturned. They'll review it. Panthers make another play.
Today's game is sponsored by Cricket Wireless, the Merrier carrier.
We are back in Charlotte. The review has been taking place. Should be Panthers ball. It was pretty clear on the replay. Ron Rivera.
After review, the quarterback clearly fumbled the football with a clear recovery by Carolina at the 26-yard line. It will be Carolina's ball, 1st and 10 at the 26. And Carolina will not be charged with a timeout. With the game clock operator, please reset the game clock to 4:16.
Kevin, how about the year of K'Wan Short? His 9th sack. He's a defensive tackle. I mean, that's big production. And, you know, I know in inner circles the word on K'Wan was a great rusher coming out of Purdue, but maybe didn't have that motor. That motor looks pretty good to me.
He now has the most sacks for defensive tackle in Panthers history, breaking Chris Jenkins' old record. He has been phenomenal, Pro Bowl type phenomenal. So Carolina on the turnover takes over on the Atlanta 26 with 4:16 to go in the 3rd. And here's Newton. Give it to Mike Tolbert. Bowling ball style up the middle, and Tolbert has about 5 yards. Well, you think about Ron Rivera, right, John? You go back and what they've been through. 2013, and it didn't start out so well. I mean, they were 1-3. All the headlines of maybe Ron Rivera let go, fire him. He's on the hot seat. Well, what did they do? They won 8 in a row. As quick play here, and that's going to be Tolbert again, a little shy of the 1st down. And they go on and win 8 in a row that year, and then they finish the season 12-4. Right, last year similar thing, right? They had a rough start. They won the last 4 to get in the playoffs, and Ron Rivera knows about being unbeaten at this point of the year. First time 12-0 as a player and a coach. He was 12-0 when he was a member of the '85 Bears. They lost to Dan Marino and the Dolphins on Monday night, and the John Madden thing is very interesting. We'll get into it after the play. On 3rd and short, Fozzie Whitaker And it looks like they'll have enough for the first down. We'll see where they spot this football. But that's a relationship with John Madden, who, by the way, recovering from open heart surgery. We wish Coach the best, but that's a relationship that started a few years ago, and it's fascinating.
Yeah, you know, he's made tremendous growth as Ron Rivera as a head coach, and we talked about that with him, and he said, you know, if I could have done it differently, one thing I would have done, I would have had a head coach, a former head coach on my staff. I didn't have one. Jerry Richardson in his third year introduces him to Coach Madden, and he's been a tremendous kind of compass guiding Ron Rivera in the right thing. Tell him to stick to his beliefs. If you believe in run the ball, run the ball. And to Coach Madden, I'd like to echo those sentiments. Get well, Coach.
Here's Fozzie Whitaker all the way. Touchdown.
He is fun to watch, KB. This entire team, I'm telling you, what a great picture. But the depth, we keep going to it. They're losing players, but then they've got guys to back them up. And this team is just very well constructed. And I think anyone who doubts how good this team is, I've heard it often, the worst undefeated team I've ever seen. But this team can play, and they can play on every level.
They're just looking to see if he got in, and as you can see, it's not close. He did. First touchdown of the year for Fozzie Whitaker. Gano's extra point is good. It was a 16-yard run for Whitaker, and with 2:18 to go in the third quarter, it's a Carolina crushing.
Look at Ryan Khalil, the center. You don't see many centers with the ability to get out front. Dermontti Dawson, a Hall of Famer, was kind of in the 80s, 90s who could do that. Ryan Khalil, unbelievable out in front. Cam Newton, he just makes it fun for these fans. And I'll tell you one thing, everything's fun when you're on the way to being 13-0.
I'll tell you what, John, you know, in the NFL, and this is really a wonderful tradition that Cam Newton has started. Now all the players give the touchdown balls, and they're trying to find kids, and that's making a fan for life. It's great. You know, obviously, in the league, as you look at these guys having fun, anybody could beat anybody in 1 week, right? But, man, good luck. This team, you said at the beginning of the broadcast, you thought they were the best team in the NFL. And I don't know how you can go against that right now.
Because I think they're so complete. They can run the football. They can pass the football. They got a quarterback. You talk about a dual threat. That's the definition of one. He's a clutch player. He plays his best football when it matters most. Defensively, they have stars. They have depth. I just think it's a well-thought-out team, and they have star power like that guy, Cam Newton. In my mind, running away with the MVP race, really.
Luke Kuechly did come back in that last series, so despite that ankle injury, he's fine. And it's all fine for Carolina today, up 38-0.
You talk about Cam Newton and the MVP. Why do I think so? Well, here's why. He can throw the football in the red zone, flawless. And look at that velocity. But then you're playing the run, and Cam Newton going to keep it and run for explosive runs, not just little runs, explosive runs. And then at the line of scrimmage, above the neck, here's the biggest improvement in his game. He checked to that play with Mike Tolbert. Cam Newton is doing everything. We've seen him block today. He clearly is the MVP. Unbelievable.
38-0 Panthers. It's been their day. Atlanta looking for anything. Here's Freeman. And he's going to pick up a couple for Kuechly. Makes a brick wall gain of 3. Doesn't it say, John, too, we showed you about 2013. They got off to a slow start. They got hot. Last year, slow start. Same thing, they got hot. This year, there was no slow start. But doesn't it say something in this league about having some patience, letting a coaching staff and their players develop together? Because that's exactly what we're seeing.
No doubt. I mean, there was a lot of talk about getting rid of Ron Rivera. His clock management wasn't great, but he's learned. He's gotten better. And this organization, the ownership, Jerry Richardson, should be applauded. for having the patience and the fortitude to stick with the guy, because now he's turned into one of the better head coaches in football.
Already the NFL Coach of the Year in 2013, as we have a penalty on the play. But you're right. Some trash talking going on. I think Jerry Richardson deserves a lot of credit, for just letting things play out. And there he is, one of the great owners in this league. Got to feel a lot of pride. This is home for him.
Well, they picked a winner in Ron Rivera. They gave him that opportunity Ron was looking for. And again, Ron will be the first to tell you he's a much better head coach right now, but they let him work through the tough times. And then he did something really smart, getting this franchise quarterback, getting guys like Luke Kuechly. He and Dave Gettleman, Marty Herney was responsible for a lot of those moves.
There are fouls against both teams that will cause a play to be replayed. Holding, defense number 86, number 26. Personal foul, unnecessary roughness, offense number 84. By rule, these penalties will offset replay, second down.
That'll cause us to go to a game break with Kurt Menefee. Kurt.
Well, the guy that Ron Rivera replaced, John Fox, has to be happy his Bears have gotten back in it against Washington. Once down 14-0, Matt Forte's touchdown made it a 24-21 game in the fourth quarter. Kevin, John, and Payton.
All right, so that was developing into a photo finish. Washington by 3. 2nd and 7 for the Falcons after all that, after the offsetting penalties. Tevin Coleman in the game at running back. Pressure, Ryan throwing it deep off his back foot, nobody home. Julio Jones stopped. Josh Norman kept going. Well, speaking of those Bears, Kurt so masterfully tied it all in. Ron Rivera, yeah, he was an 85 world champion Chicago Bear. Big old linebacker, number 59. He knows a thing or two about being unbeaten. He said the difference is, played in Chicago. All the he's like, it's a little different here. It's just not the same. It's a smaller market.
Called it a constant crush of media when he was a player. They don't have that here in Charlotte, and he thinks they've benefited from that.
3rd down. Ryan over the middle, and he's got a completion good enough for a 1st down. Julio Jones holds on in traffic.
I tell you, even when you catch a ball on Josh Norman, you're not catching it by much. Josh Norman all over Julio Jones. You see him play the bail vision technique. All he's doing is watching the quarterback, but his ability to get in and out of breaks is matching great players like Julio Jones.
Steps away from 1 sack. Now Ryan throws. Intercepted. Luke Kuechly's got it. Fourth interception of the year for Kuechly, and there is a penalty flag.
That's frustration by Matt Ryan. They've made him dink and dunk all game long. He knows what we know. They haven't been going down the field, but you just picked the wrong guy to go after in Luke Kuechly, because his fellow Boston College guy just took advantage of it.
Personal foul, unnecessary roughness. Defensive team number 25. This 15-yard penalty will be enforced from where the play ended. 1st down.
Here's Luke Kuechly right in the middle. This is Tampa 2 defense. 2 safeties deep. Luke Kuechly running through the middle of the field. We saw him on Thanksgiving intercept Tony Romo in that same coverage. Luke Kuechly, he's got it all. He can play the run. He can play the pass 40 yards downfield. Incredible football player.
And see this, despite the score. A little discipline, John?
That's what the good ones do. When you're up, you hammer your team. Bill Belichick was a master of that. When you're having your most success, you let them know everything you're doing wrong. Ron Rivera on top of it.
And Kuechly bringing everybody in to finish the thought. New quarterback Derek Anderson's in. He pitches to Fozzie Whitaker, who dances his way across the 30 for a short gain. So Cam Newton's day is done, and he was splendid. 15 of 21, 265, 3 touchdowns for Cam. Derek Anderson came in for one play when Newton got hurt and completed a 24-yard pass that set up a touchdown in the first half. But he has had a really good career here in Carolina. And John, he had his chance, was it a year to go and go and find a starting job, but he was so happy here he stayed.
And Cam loves him as a backup. They spend a lot of time together. They have a great relationship, and that's a critical relationship. That backup quarterback at times is very instrumental in the success of the starter.
Quarter about to run out. They'll get one more play. Anderson pats the ball far side for Corey Brown, and is that an interception? It's a bobble, and it's incomplete. That'll take us to the end of this quarter number 3 from Charlotte. It's 38-0 Panthers. We start the fourth quarter. It's been all Panthers. They have backed up every bit of their 12-0 record, looking, as John Lynch said, like the best team in football today. I mean, yeah, the Falcons have been struggling coming in. They've lost 5 in a row, but they've been in every one of the games. They have not been in this game from the jump. That's just a credit to the Panthers and how well they're playing right now. Cam Newton's day is done. He takes a rest. Derek Anderson, the backup, comes in as he finished out the third quarter. 11th-year veteran from Oregon State. Pro Bowler with the Browns back in 2007, where he threw for 3,700 yards. 3rd and 7. Anderson, there's a shot over the middle, and a nice play. That's the 3rd tight end, Scott Simonson. And he takes a hit, makes a spin, and he's got a first down.
You talk about it, just a team, a football team clicking on all cylinders. That's what we're seeing. You're seeing the backup quarterback to the 3rd string tight end who's going to break a tackle from a very sure-handed tackler, Paul Warlow. Carolina Panthers are in a zone and just putting on a show here today.
9 different players have caught a pass. 6 different players have run the ball. It is spreading the wealth for the Panthers. First down, Tolbert. Shoulder down to the flag, far side of the field. Cam Newton's day, they scored touchdowns on their first 3 possessions. There was plenty of dabbing going on from Cam and the fellas. On their way to going 13-0. Let's get the penalty from Tony Correnti.
Illegal formation on the offense. On the left side of the line of scrimmage, the wide receiver was covering up the tight end. 5-yard penalty, repeat, first down.
So how about Cam's day, John? What did you think?
I thought he was incredible. You know, he did it all, the deep ball. The one thing they kept him in check was in the run game, but he said, all right, you're going to stop me on the run game. I'm throwing it deep to Ted Ginn, and he was so effective in doing so. There's the fastball to Ed Dixon. Nearly flawless for Cam Newton.
Ron Rivera had an awesome quote about Cam when we met with him on Friday. He said, you know, it really is like playing Madden with Cam Newton. You're just missing the controller. That sums it up beautifully. Fozzie Whitaker taken down at the line of scrimmage.
You know, Kevin, I think one of the things, you know, that I'm so impressed with, so they draft Cam Newton as the #1 pick, but then you got to build an offense around him. At the time, the offensive coordinator was Rob Chudzinski. They studied a ton of Auburn film, said, let's put him in position. Mike Shula took the job when Chudzinski left, and I think Shula's been masterful in building a scheme to fit Cam Newton. They studied hard. What does Cam do best? The staff tasked themselves with doing that. They identified it. Then they brought Cam in and said, Cam, what do you like most? If he didn't like it, they threw it out. So they simplified in that way. They've built a system that is so tailored to their star quarterback, and it is a thing of beauty.
Set up a screen, and Whitaker can't get by the initial wave. Paul Warlow was there to make the tackle, and it'll bring up 3rd down.
There's Jim Skipper, one of the fine assistants. So Mike Shula, Ron Rivera talked about that experience, that wisdom on the staff. Though their offensive, you know, I talked to Shula about his run game, how much volume is, and he said, I give all the credit to these guys.
Wow.
Their running back coach. Look at the years of experience. That's a wealth of knowledge. Ray Brown, he's the assistant O-line coach, played 18 years. There's Pete Hainer, the tight end coach. Jim Skipper, 29 years. I mean, a wealth of experience. He and Mike Shula and that entire offensive staff have done a fantastic job.
Devin Funchess on the catch. And that'll bring up 4th down. Here's Bruce DeHaven. He's a special teams coach for the Panthers. Talking about all the experience, he has been around forever. I mean, he was most notably on those Bills teams that went to 4 Super Bowls, and we talked to him on the field. He said the chemistry here very much like those Buffalo Bills teams. Wasn't sure if it's because it's a smaller town, smaller market, but for him to say that, who's been in all these different places for all these decades, that says something. We get a flag. We get a flag back, way back at the 38.
John Matsko, the offensive line coach. And I tell you, Michael Orr right there, he's been absolutely.
During the kick, holding, receiving team, number 51. This 10-yard penalty will be enforced from the end of the kick. First down.
It is all smiles, all Carolina. All the time today they have dominated. They're going to 13-0.
This game is sponsored by Burger King. Now get 10 chicken nuggets for $1.49 only at BK.
It's been a festive atmosphere in Charlotte. Why not? It's 38-0. Panthers on their way to going 13-0. Here's Julio Jones catching and breaking tackles and still going is Jones. And he's still playing hard. Into Carolina territory. They will spot him down right around the 35. And another Carolina injury. It's Bené Ben-Wickery, their starting cornerback.
What a great competitor Julio Jones is. Down 38-0. He's not quitting. He's still in there. He's breaking tackles. There's been Wickery. He runs out of his tackle. One of the great pros in football, Julio Jones.
They tend to Ben-Wickery. Injury timeout. Wednesday, be there. A soccer legend and American hero takes your final bow. Don't miss Abby Wambach's final game as Team USA takes on China. It's Wednesday at 7:30 Eastern, only on FS1 and streaming live on Fox Sports Go. This Bené Ben-Wickery injury did not look good, and they cart him off, the starting cornerback for the Panthers. Team's up 38-0. You're going to be 13-0, and that's an area where they're short.
You watch at the end of the play. Turn your head if you don't like watching, because the way it gets jammed up there, it just doesn't look good. Now the good news, Kevin, we were down on the field before the game, as you see Bené Ben-Wickery in pain, but Charles Peanut Tillman right there, he was running, and it seemed like running fairly well on the field. I talked to him, he said he hyperextended it. He feels like he's close, but what a great signing going and getting a veteran like Cortland Finnegan. Tremendous signing by Dave Gettleman and Ron Rivera. Yet again, they just keep finding gems like this. Jared Allen earlier in the year.
Yeah, Tillman's been out now for a few weeks with that knee injury, but as you said, maybe getting closer. And to sign Finnegan, he played well last week. He might be starting next week. Here's Nick Williams off a deflection. Look at this. Nick Williams trying to go all the way, and he's hammered out of bounds at about the 5. Mario Addison got his hands on the ball, but fortuitous hop right into Williams' mitts. It's a 29-yard gain.
You see the quick screen deflected. Nick Williams gets it, and they really have a cavalry up front. I want you to watch at the end, though, the finish by Kurt Coleman. He's a guy, another great addition for this defense. Has had interceptions in 4 straight games, 6 on the year. Was a guy who hadn't done much in his career. He's found a home in Carolina. Another great free agent acquisition for the Panthers.
Falcons just trying to score a point. 1st and goal. Draw Freeman, and he just can't go anywhere. Yeah, the problem is Freeman's so fast that every time he tries to bounce it out, the Carolina linebackers are faster.
Yeah, they're getting penetration inside, and then you try to run side to side against this defense, they're too fast.
Red zone has been a real issue for the Falcons. Now today it's not a factor because they didn't get in the red zone, but it's been a big problem why they've lost 5 in a row, because you look here at the difference between these two teams. Ryan and the Falcons have struggled in the red zone. Panthers and Cam Newton have excelled in the red zone. 2nd and goal. This is the first Falcons trip to the red zone, as I said. Ryan throw in for Hardy. Little high, incomplete.
Kevin, the deal is we saw those 4 interceptions. Atlanta has 7 on the year in the red zone. And when you do that, you come out with 0 points. You talked about all the close games. If they just kick field goals, 3 points, don't turn it over, they may have won 2, 3 of those games. So There's always going to be tight windows in there. You can't play scared, but you do have to play smart in the red zone.
7 turnovers, you're right, most in the league in there. And here at 3rd and goal, you saw that last ball was tipped. Ryan, and incomplete. Receiver Freeman fell down. He wanted a flag. There is none, and it's 4th and goal.
Devontae Freeman, a very skilled receiver. He can run the whole tree. Freeman's going to be outside, comes underneath, and he does fall. And Kurt Coleman darn near had his 5th interception in 5 games.
Falcons obviously going to go. Julio Jones not even in the game on this 4th down. Ryan throwing for White, caught, but he's not gonna get there. And the Falcons turn it over on downs, and again the red zone, they come up short. Trey Boston was there first, and then he got a lot of help. Here's the play. Just not enough. All Carolina.
Today's game is sponsored by Target. Expect more, pay less.
Ron Rivera, stern as ever. You wouldn't know his team's up 38, John, but they are. About to go to 13, and they're starting to shadow their own goal line after that defensive stop. Quick give up the middle. Mike Tolbert pushes the entire pile forward 5 yards. Saturday, the UFC's 9 Days of Fury ending with a big world lightweight title fight. We've got a couple of big fights on hand. UFC Fight Night is free, and it all begins Saturday at 8 Eastern, only on your local Fox affiliate.
Hey, Kevin, we see those stern faces from Ron Rivera. Look, Ron Rivera is as genuine as it gets. What he's thinking about, I think it's a great illustration. They've got bigger fish to fry. The undefeated, great. They're happy. What they're concerned about, getting to Santa Clara. They want to get to and win the Super Bowl. Ron Rivera's got that in his sights.
Penalty on the play on the 2nd down run. So, John, what do you do? I mean, today, they've had all these guys get banged up here with Olsen and Stewart. Obviously Cam came back in and played, and now that looks like a bigger injury to Ben Wickery, their starting quarterback. How do you play it? I mean, they still have to lock up home field
illegal
advantage.
Formation, left side of the offensive line. Wide receiver on the line of scrimmage covered that tight end.
And there's Newton.
This penalty.
All right, Tony, we heard enough. Anyway, so, the Cardinals are right on their tail, John. They still have to lock up home field. How would you play this?
You got to keep playing, man. You can't play scared, and the quickest way to get injured is to play not to get injured.
Yeah.
So you got to play, like Ron said, you got to leave it to him as to when to take guys out. And everyone always says you ought to sit him. Well, you only have 53 guys.
Right.
You got to play special teams, all those things. So you got to keep playing, in my mind, and then be judicious when things like this happen of taking guys. I'd have Cam Newton in the locker room right now so that you aren't tempted to put him back in.
I guess it's a good problem to have, right? On a 3rd down. Here's Anderson from his own end zone, looking deep for Brown. Incomplete. Overthrew him. So even the backup quarterback taking shots downfield, but he just missed Brown, a little overthrown. And now Brad Nortman will punt it away with 8:30 to go in this one. From Bank of America Stadium in Charlotte. Well, they've done a nice job in here, John. I mean, this is one of those old school stadiums, but they've put a lot of money in it the last couple of years, and it's a pretty place to come in and watch a football game. One of the rarer grass fields. It seems more and more fields are going to field turf. Here's Hester. Will he get a chance? Makes one tackle. This is not much there, but somehow he slips through. Still making it happen. Decent return. All Panthers, though, today. Cam Newton has had plenty to smile about today. He's done plenty. 3 touchdowns passing. Carolina got up to a 21-0 lead before you can blink. And they are going to be 13-0 today. And meanwhile, these Falcons and Dan Quinn, they've got a lot to do. Matt Ryan's day is finally done. Sean Renfree has never played in the NFL until right now. He completes his first pass to Nick Williams. And Nick Williams moves ahead for a gain of 11. And that's a first down. So Sean Renfree, third-year ban from Duke, where he was a 2-year captain, finally getting a taste of the NFL. Certainly not the way you would want to do it. And we get a penalty on the play.
Offense number 73. 15-yard penalty. After the play is over, it is second down.
It's Ryan Schrader, the right tackle. He kind of went after Shaq Thompson, gave him a piece of his mind, and Tony Corrente called it, and Dan Quinn pulls him off the field. Dan Quinn, this is about letting people know what will be accepted, what won't be accepted. Dan Quinn right now saying that can't happen. You watch at the end of the play. If you keep it going, he did that, then watch him here. Getting right up in Shaq Thompson's face, and that's when Tony Corrente threw the flag.
So Jake Long, number 75, the 4-time Pro Bowler. Remember him, he's had so many injuries the last couple of years, but he was signed earlier this year, hasn't played yet until now. He's on the right side on the right tackle. And we get a whistle, stop play. And Jake Long, they signed him, John, early in the year, and this guy was a fantastic.
The question was concerning whether or not the yardage of 1st and 10 is correct. It is correct, 1st and 10 after enforcement of the penalty.
Ron Rivera gets a good chuckle out of that explanation.
I'm just trying to finish a thought. That's all I'm trying to do. Jake Long was a great player, John. Honestly, I thought he'd be in at some point earlier this year. He's coming back from a couple big knee injuries. He's in now, and that's incomplete. He's had 2 straight season-ending ACLs. Let's look at the NFC right now and see where we stand. We know the Panthers have the #1 seed. They've clinched a bye, but not home field because the Cardinals keep on winning too. They're right on their tail. Packers, big game later against the Cowboys. It's America's Game of the Week on Fox. Redskins are beating the Bears by 3 2 minutes ago in that game. Chicago's got the football, though. Seattle is on fire right now, and that is the team that nobody wants to play. Tevin Campbell, or Coleman, excuse me, with the carry, and he's going to have a first down.
We saw Seattle live and in person last week. That's exactly what I said. This is a team no one wants to face, and there's a good likelihood someone like the Panthers could after that bye week.
That's about the worst formula that I can think of. You don't have the year that you're having if you get home field advantage and then you end up playing the first game against Seattle. Hey, that's not easy.
If you're going to win it, you're going to face some great teams. And
you're right.
You know, a lot of these Panthers players told us they feel like they got through the threshold when they came back against Seattle, who had been a nemesis earlier this year.
Great tackle by Teddy Williams. That Seattle game, they had an unbelievable fourth quarter comeback there. You just didn't see it at the time. They won 27-23 in that game. Greg Olsen had the big fourth quarter touchdown, and we did the playoff game last year. Carolina played Seattle well. They ended up losing, and in that game, a lot of those guys point to that game as being, all right, we had had enough. That kind of the turning point. And having looked back, second down, here's Renfree. And fires a wobbler high and incomplete. So the Panthers are going to be 13-0 in just over 6 minutes, and there have been other teams that have hit that threshold. As a matter of fact, 7 teams have gone 13-0 in the Super Bowl era. Now, of those teams, 5 of them went to the Super Bowl. How many won it? 3 of them. 3 teams won it. Dolphins, Broncos, and the Saints in 09 were the last one. The Saints with Roman Harper as their safety. Roman Harper, part of this Panthers secondary. Third down, they're going to give a draw on the play. And that is going to come up shy. So it'll be a 4th and long from the 35.
And Kevin Boyd, I enjoy him. You know, I've known Roman Harper for a long time. but really have grown to respect the depth he has to him. And certain guys, you bring them in, success kind of follows them. He was in New Orleans when they won it. He talked about the other day, he said, look, all we have done is punch the ticket to the playoffs. Our goal is San Francisco, and we have to check things off one by one. That means 1 week at a time, and I think this team has such a great mentality led by Ron Rivera.
So a 4th down and 8. Falcons will go. Flag flies. Renfree over the middle. He's got a completion and a 1st down, but Justin Hardy's got it, but we have to see what the flag is.
False start. Offense number 15. 5-yard penalty remains 4th down. There's timeout.
Ben Jacobs on the ground. Backup linebacker hurt for Carolina. They check on him. Let's check on another game break. Mike Hill has it for us.
Hey, guys, don't forget America's Game of the Week is coming up next. Des Bryant and the Cowboys still in the mix in that crazy NFC East, taking on Aaron Rodgers in the NFC North leading pack. Everyone remembers that controversial finish between these two in the playoffs last year. You get the rematch next. Kevin and John. Kevin, by the way, I love the beer.
All right, Mike, thanks. I appreciate it. Makes 1. 38-0 Carolina. 5.5 to go. Luke Kuechly and this defense pitching a shutout today. How impressive is that? Well, Matt Ryan's thrown a touchdown pass in 37 consecutive road games. So it's been a long time. Matt Ryan isn't in this game anymore. So good this Carolina defense was today. 4th and 13 now with Renfree at quarterback. He's in trouble, and he is eaten alive. Kyle Love got there first. Big old 93 out of Mississippi State.
This has the look of a team that senses what's in front of them. It doesn't matter whether you're talking about Luke Kuechly or Kyle Love. These guys are playing for something bigger. Dwan Edwards just walks Pearson back. Kyle Love in there, Dwan Edwards in there. This team is hungry, and they are playing like it.
John, now this is watching the quarterback situation. Okay, I thought Joe Webb was going to come in and quarterback, but he's going to come in and play. Derek Anderson's still the quarterback. Joe Webb, the quarterback, one of the quarterbacks, number 14, who does everything for this team.
Now he's up here.
And we got to tell you about this guy. This guy is something else. Remember, quarterback of Minnesota, he started a playoff game. Here's Fozzie Whitaker. Nice run. Joe Webb leads the Panthers in special teams tackles.
Bruce DeHaven, who you showed earlier, said and this is pretty special when you have Cam Newton on your team. There's a lot of people who think he's the best athlete on the team. That's a former quarterback blocking, like you said, leading the team in special teams tackles. It's kind of that special thing that Carolina has going right now, is that everyone has a role, everyone's accepting it, and everyone's playing for the something bigger than their own personal agendas.
Meanwhile, remember, if you're just tuning in, Jonathan Stewart had that foot injury. He had the uniform on, but didn't come back into the second half with the score the way it was. But Fozzie Whitaker's running well. He gets it again, running left side. And it's going to be a short gain of about 2. Got 8 carries for 35 yards and a touchdown, doing a nice job getting a chance to get a bunch of carries, really for the first time all year. There's Stewart. That's really the only negative, and we've talked about the concern. It seems that Olsen and Stewart, minor injuries. Bené Ben-Wickery, the cornerback, the starting corner, that seems like a more serious injury. He got carted off, went in for x-rays on the leg ankle area. Looks like Ben Jacobs, the backup linebacker, may be in concussion protocol right now. 3rd down and 3. Run it to Tolbert. Tolbert just laying the wood. I think he's going to be shy of a first down, though. He ran right over poor Justin Durant.
Talk about a fire hydrant. He's low to the ground, and he runs right through Justin Durant.
Goodness. Tried to do it again, and Ricardo Allen, who did get him down to the ground. So a 4th and less than a yard here. Time ticking down towards 2 minutes to go. This one is a formality. Quarterback sneak. Depends on the spot. It'll be close. See where they mark this. John, other games of note gone final now. Washington knocked off the Bears 24-21, so that'll at least keep them in a tie for first place in the NFC East. The Eagles gave up a 10-point lead. They and the Bills tied at 20 now in the fourth quarter in Philadelphia, with the Eagles on the move in that game. Don't forget Cowboys and Packers. That's huge now. It's America's game of the week, and it's coming up in just a few moments on Fox from Green Bay.
It's going to be interesting to see whether that end of the play Hail Mary that they made good upon by Richard Rodgers and Aaron Rodgers, whether that can ignite this Green Bay team that has been struggling mightily, and they did in that game, but they finished it in the right way. See if that can propel them to better things.
Yeah, that'll be curious to see. You know, remember, meanwhile, the Vikings, they've now lost 2 games in a row, still right behind Green Bay, and still in a wild card spot. Seattle's the team to watch. They romped in Baltimore today, and they're red hot. How about the Panthers? Trying to run the table, go 16-0. Here's what they have left. They're at the Giants next week, and then they're at Atlanta, and finally finish up home here with the Buccaneers, and that game's just gone final. Tampa has lost to New Orleans.
The one that jumps out at you at New York, I mean, everyone who's watched Eli Manning knows that any given day he can get hot enough to carry a team and beat a team. So going to be an interesting one to watch, particularly if the Panthers are banged up.
That play should take us down to the 2-minute warning, and it's a good day if you are Jerry Richardson, that's for sure. Carolina, beautiful city, smaller city on the East Coast, the fall foliage, and I have no idea where there's a lighthouse around here. 3.5 hours from the water. Go figure. Ready on 3, everybody dab. And here you go. There you go. They did it, trust me. Sacked is, boy, they're coming at you from all angles. It's A.J. Klein as Renfree gets taken down. There it is, John. I told you.
A.J. Klein says, you guys go ahead and dab, or whatever they call that. I'm going to go ahead and sack Sean Renfree.
3rd down. Renfree incomplete. So the Panthers with the win will go to 13-0. They will clinch a first-round bye. Again, with the Cardinals with 2 losses, they haven't clinched that home field advantage throughout the playoffs just yet. They've got to keep winning to do that. But they know they at least have the division, they've got a playoff berth, and they've got a first-round bye. Not too bad with 3 weeks to go.
Well, if there were any doubters coming into today, I think a lot of those were answered. Granted, the competition, Atlanta on a free fall right now in terms of losing. But this Carolina Panthers team is for real.
Impressive day all around. 4th and 14. Renfree back. Got to air it out for Williams. Overthrown, and it's intercepted by Kurt Coleman. The 7th interception of the year by Coleman, which ties him for the league lead. And that's a fitting way to end this game.
1 in 5 straight games. Kurt Coleman's on fire, as is his entire team.
Atlanta hasn't been shut out in a long time. December 4th of 2004 against Tampa Bay. It'll happen today.
Sean Renfree, that's called a wounded duck, folks. And Kurt Coleman says, thank you very much.
Kurt Coleman had 10 career interceptions coming into the year. He's got 7 this year.
Sometimes a change of environment. And again, I go back to Ron Rivera, not thinking about other people, opinions of players. They looked at Kurt Coleman, Sean McDermott, the defensive coordinator, had history with them at Philly. You bring him in, and he's been a key and integral part of their success.
Think Cam Newton's having fun?
He's having a great time. Yes, he did.
I think he's doing a Hulk Hogan. He's going to both sides of the ring to get the fan approval. I've never seen anything like this. You know what, John? You're 13-0. You just won 38-0. You can do whatever you want.
Goodness.
What a win for the Panthers. They're unbeaten at 13-0, and they crush Atlanta 38-0 here from Charlotte today. Coming up after the game on the State Farm Game Break, Kurt, Terry, Howie, Michael, and Jimmy will have the scores and highlights from around the league, and they'll get you ready and take you up to America's Game of the Week. All Cam, all Carolina today. The Panthers posing for pictures. They're dabbing away. They're 13-0. What a performance today. For Pam Oliver and John Lynch, I'm Kevin Burkhardt. Now to Kurt and the fellas. Guys,